Dreams beyond doubt. Once upon a time in a small, sleepy town, there was a young girl named Aurora. She was always sketching, painting, and daydreaming about far-off places she had never visited, imagining grand adventures that would one day be hers. Art was her life, but it was also the one thing that made her stand out, and not always in the best way. Aurora's classmates would often tease her, calling her the dreamer. Her teachers would smile but gently remind her that, while art was nice, she needed to focus on more practical subjects if she ever hoped to succeed in the real world. Even her parents, though they loved her dearly, encouraged her to think about a more secure career, like becoming a doctor or lawyer. But Aurora's heart was steadfast. She knew what she wanted, even if the world around her didn't understand. A simple beginning. At 15, Aurora's only escape from the pressures of school and life was her sketchbook. She would sneak into the corner of her room after school, using her fingers to gently smudge graphite over paper, sketching scenes of bustling cities and lush landscapes, faces full of hope and designs for the future she dreamed of building. One evening, she worked on a sketch of a cityscape with swirling colors, vibrant reds, blues, and golds that seemed to capture the soul of the city itself. She poured all of her emotions into it, wishing for it to be more than just a drawing. It was her dream, wrapped in pencil strokes. When her mother found the sketch, she said, "Aurora, this is beautiful, but have you thought about how you'll make a living doing this? You can't eat paintings, sweetheart." Her mother's voice was full of love, but it stung. Aurora nodded, her heart sinking. "I'll figure it out," she said, even though she wasn't sure how. The struggle and the vision. As the years passed, Aurora's doubts started to creep in, especially as she faced more obstacles. Art schools were expensive, and despite her passion, she struggled to gain acceptance into any prestigious programs. One rejection after another left her questioning whether her dream was foolish. Maybe her mother had been right after all. Maybe art wasn't practical. But something inside her refused to let go of that spark. She began working part-time at a local coffee shop to save up for art supplies and tuition. Every spare moment was dedicated to her craft, whether it was painting, drawing, or designing. Slowly, she started building a portfolio of work, sharing it on social media. Her art began to gain attention, not just for its beauty, but for its message, vibrant, colorful expressions of a world that needed hope, optimism, and joy. Still, there were nights Aurora would lie awake, asking herself if she was just chasing a dream that would never come true. The breakthrough. One day, after a long shift at the coffee shop, Aurora received a message from a well-known art gallery in the city. They had seen her work online and wanted to feature her in an upcoming exhibition. She couldn't believe it. This was the chance she'd been waiting for. The moment when everything could change. But there was a catch. The exhibition was just 2 weeks away, and she had no money to fund the cost of transportation, accommodation, and the materials she'd need to display her work. Her friends, her family, and even strangers online offered to help, but doubt crept in. Could she really pull this off? Would anyone even care about her art? The night before the exhibition, Aurora stared at her unfinished pieces, wondering if they were enough. But then, as she took a deep breath and looked at her work through fresh eyes, she realized something. Her art wasn't meant to please others. It was meant to express her truth, her voice. And if no one saw the beauty in it, it didn't matter. What mattered was that she believed in herself. The big day. The exhibition day arrived, and Aurora stood in front of her collection of paintings, feeling a nervous excitement in her chest. People were walking through the gallery, nodding appreciatively at the bright colors and bold designs. She watched as visitors paused in front of each piece, clearly moved by her work. By the end of the day, a well-known art collector approached her. He was fascinated by her style and wanted to represent her. The conversation that followed was surreal. A dream she had once held in the quietest corners of her mind was now unfolding before her. The lesson. Months later, Aurora's work was featured in multiple galleries across the country. She even had her own solo show in a major city. But more than the success, more than the recognition, what she learned was invaluable. Dreams only become real when you have the courage to believe in them, even when no one else does. Aurora's story became a beacon of hope for many young artists, reminding them that talent alone isn't enough. It's the refusal to give up on what seems impossible, the courage to keep pushing forward even when the odds seem stacked against you, that turns dreams into reality. And as for Aurora, she finally stopped doubting herself. She was living her dream, and in the process, she helped others to believe in theirs as well. Moral of the story: no matter how many people doubt you, no matter how many doors slam in your face, hold tight to your dreams. Only you have the power to turn them into reality.